Welcome, everybody. My name is Connie Rose, and I am a quantum living advocate with Solex. I have been a quantum living advocate for about 5.5 years. I was blessed to be introduced to this technology in August of 2020 before the company launched. And I was a beta tester, and it has been a profound blessing in my life. At that point in my life, in August of 2020, I'm going to take you back a little bit and explain to you why I'm here and so excited about what we're doing. So in August of 2020, I was not in a very good place in my life, probably one of the lowest parts of my life. And March 16th of 2020, my 18-year-old son, Nicholas, had a massive heart attack out of nowhere. Was healthy and instantly was in heaven. And it literally devastated my body, and I ended up in a wheelchair. I was already not doing great. I had a lot of back pain. One of my knees was bone on bone. And shortly after that, my other knee went out. And what we know now is that there is a emotional impact for every physical thing that's going on in your body. So you could just look if you got any physical things going on. I promise you, there's an emotional component to it. And so at that point in my life, my knees were both bone on bone. And what do our knees do? Our knees move us forward. Well, guess what? I did not want to move forward. I was perfectly content going back into the past, except that wasn't in reality. And I needed to figure out, and I didn't want to be here, honestly. I had two very sick parents who have since passed that needed me, and I needed to figure out a way. And this is what I'm going to tell you. I spent so many nights crying myself to sleep, praying for a solution. And this is what I'm going to tell you, so I want you to listen up. There are people, like you're hearing this information, very, very few people on the planet know about this technology. And there are people right now in your circle, in your sphere of influence, that are doing the same thing I was doing. Crying out, praying for a solution that we have. So you are definitely in the right place at the right time. So my dear friend Julie called me up and said, hey, I know you're not doing well. I know you're also into the woo, and also I'm a total nerd. I'm also into science. And this technology, I didn't know anything other than this is a new technology. It's based on a $38,000 piece of equipment. They're moving it from equipment to the internet, so you could access it on a tablet or a phone or a computer. And this is what it's supposed to do. And I said, I'm in. I never had a scan. I never saw a website. There were no websites back then. I just knew what she was sharing with me. I like I said, I'd been crying and praying about a solution, and this is the solution that God brought into my life. This technology helped me go from being in a wheelchair to a walker in about maybe 6 weeks. I was using the walker for another 2 or 3 months, then using a cane for almost a year. So it wasn't like an instant. This is not instant. However, this is profound healing on a quantum level. Like what I have since discovered is that not only, and I knew we had a physical body, obviously, but we also have a bioenergetic field. And I always thought that our physical influenced our field. Well, guess what? It's the other way around. Our field influences our physical body. And what this technology does, at the core of it, I'm going to go through all the different parts of it, but at the core of what it does is it will scan your frequency blueprint. And your frequency blueprint is so unique to you. Some people call it your aura. Some people say it's your biofield. It's your toroidal field. There's different names to it. It's measurable. And they've known really since the 1950s what the quote perfect frequency is of every part of our physical body, emotional, mental, and spiritual body. So what the software does, it'll scan the client, yourself, and figure out where you are with all the different things. It scans over 171,000 frequencies. And then it compares it to what I call the divine blueprint, the divine frequencies, because we're made in his image, and there's a perfection in how we're designed. Like our DNA replicates, and it knows where it's supposed to be going. And sometimes it gets confused. There's so many things out there in our environment, and the air we're breathing, and the water we drink, and the food we eat, and the thoughts we think. Our thoughts can impact our genes and turn things off and on and cause toxins and build up in our body. Things are everywhere. And so what our software does, it'll scan your frequency blueprint, compare it to what I call that divine blueprint, that blueprint of perfection, how we're modeled after. And it'll send custom frequencies, not just like you could go to YouTube and find all kinds of frequencies on YouTube. What our software does, though, it has custom frequencies based on what you need to bring you back into alignment with that divine blueprint. And as awesome as our software is, our body is designed to heal when we're in alignment with that perfection. It's very simple. And so that's what happened to me. I started using our software. And I had profound results. You're going to hear some other results later on in this call. And at the time when I was a beta tester, it was $199 a month. No contract, still no contract. When the company launched in January of 2021, they reduced the price to $149 and promised us it'll never be more than $149. When I got the software, I only had a handful of modules. They continue to expand it and improve it, and they've made a promise the price is never going to go up. What we have now is there's nothing like it in the market. There's nothing like it and what it can do on all the different levels in our physical body, emotional body, mental, and spiritual body. It's amazing. So I'm going to share my screen. I was just running some scans. Okay. So we're just going to start at the top. This is very simple technology that you can use. And so here is where you enter in your client or yourself, and you can have unlimited people in your software. So you could use it for yourself, for your family, your friends, your neighbors, your clients. You could create a whole business around this, whether you choose to build a team or not. So this is our profile area up here. And I'm going to just briefly go over some things here. You could enter in your supplements and therapies. And so this is what I'm going to tell you. When I first got the software, I was married, and we were spending about $500 a month on supplements. And because this is the deal, I don't want money to ever be an issue with you in the software. If you want the software, I will show you ways to either save and or make money so that it's not an issue. Every household should have access to the software. So the very first way that I paid for the software was in the supplement savings. So this software can scan your supplements, your therapies. There's all different things that you could put in. You could add different categories. So it's this. You're going to hear me say the software is only limited by your imagination. So I started scanning my supplements, and I have my little library here. And in the morning, I could go over here under quick scan, morning, midday, evening, or just do a custom scan. And it will tell me what supplements I need. I was, like I said, spending between $500 and $600 a month on supplements. And the pharmaceutical industry has trained us that we need medication every day, so we must need supplements every day. Well, guess what? Your body doesn't know that. It doesn't go by that. And so it doesn't need everything every day. It'll scan and see what it needs. That alone has, my supplement cost has gone way down because I don't need everything every day. And even though it's healthy and natural, the supplements that I take, mostly from Solex, it's still a load on your liver and having to process it. So having available to only take what your body is calling for, not only are you going to feel better, but you're also going to save a lot of money. We also can scan. You can see here under quick scan, there's a pet category, and you could enter in your pets and animals. So guess what? I have 2 cats every day. They get scanned. Fluffy and Sophie get scanned every day. And in a little bit, you're going to hear a testimonial from Deb McPherson, who's going to share about the work that she does with horses. So it's cats, dogs, horses, and you can put other animals in there too. Why don't we just have you share right now about the horses? Okay, I need to have you unmuted, sweetie.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can, thank
Hi,
you.
hi everybody. I'm excited to be here to talk about horses. Now, I currently work on 25 horses. And I was asked to do this today, so I'm excited. But so I scan horses, and then I will either do that for people, go and see the horse. Of course, I do a consultation and everything. And I will play the music for the horse itself, or um, I give it to the owners and they play the music. I use a little speaker, and I actually sent Connie a 2.5 minute snip of a horse I'd been working on previously. And what it does is totally relaxes the horse, so that it can really get back to its normal status. Okay. Horses are wonderful. If you ever get an opportunity to be around them, I encourage you. But I don't know, Connie, can you put the clip on, or is that going to be too long?
Let me. Where did you send it, honey?
I sent it to Wendy. Did she not send it to you?
No.
Oh, okay. All right.
What more?
Anyway, it's very exciting. It really works. Like I said, performance horses, especially, when they're in high performance, high anxiety, and it works on the pole of the horse, the top, and goes all the way down to the tail, to the end. Totally relaxes them. I usually have horses that will actually lay down, and then get up um, after the session. It's usually about 15, 20 minutes. And they just enjoy it, and they perk up and they're all excited. The owners are excited. So I encourage you to try it.
That's awesome. Well, and like you said something special. I did not know. It makes sense to me, but I did not know that animals have different chakras than we do.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
yeah, my cats, they have paw chakras, they have tail chakras, and so there's different, they have different needs. And, horse, so our biofield typically goes out 8 to 12 feet. A horse, I don't know if you know this, Deb, it's like 25 feet. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
massive. And
It
the
is.
brain heart coherence, yeah, it's amazing.
But they have a just a magical beauty about them that they calm you down. You know what I mean? When you're with a horse, it's just magical because you just release a lot of your anxiety, believe it or not. And the horse really knows exactly what's going on with you. So that's why there's so many therapy horses now in the world. And they have all these groups now that people get together and sit around with horses and things like that. But I love all animals, and I do it. I actually do it with my fish. I do it with my birds. I do it with my plants, and my cat and dog. So,
Right. So I'm glad you brought that up. So you could actually add spaces and objects as well. So like I scan my house, scan and optimize my house, send frequencies to it. My bank accounts, I send frequencies to my bank accounts. Where I work out, I send frequencies there. I even have sent frequencies to. I hang out at my friend Lynette in her pool, and I'm going to be soaking in the water. So I'm like, I send frequencies there. So there's different. I was having an issue with my computer. This is honest to God truth. I was having issues with my computer. I looked up some frequencies that would help, like with my computer, and it was the weirdest thing. And my computer's working great now. So, like, I keep telling people, it's only limited by what you do. So, if you go into Quick Scan under Pet Scan, you could choose the target,
good,
and
because somebody
then
asked how you do it. Okay, cool.
yeah, you could choose the target, and then if you want to scan their supplements or therapies, that's one way you could add pets. You could also, we're going to go into vitals and some other scans, but you could go into vitals and do their scans there as well. And then I know you could do also in a comprehensive. You could do scan your pets in comprehensive, and then if you do multi-scan, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but multi-scan allows you to put people and pets into the scan, and you can scan up to 16 people and or pets at the same time. So we even have farmers who will scan in their whole entire herd. Like they'll take a picture of their whole herd and send frequencies to their herd. So again, it's limited only by your imagination. So like I have my client group here, and I'll just show you while we're talking about multi-scan real quick. It takes a hot minute when Zoom is on. Here we go. So I have my brother, but I have my cats, and I have my niece's cat. I have a client. And so, and I just hit this one button and it'll do the vitals and the comprehensive. It'll scan and then again, optimize. The optimization is the part that brings you back into balance. And I'm going to tell you before tonight's presentation, I have a history of kidney stones, and I was starting to have some kidney pain, and I'm like, nope, not today. And so I went in and I just did some optimization, because once you scan for the day, you can go back in and optimize more often, and like pain just went away just by optimizing. It's amazing. So thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Do you have something else, Deb?
Yeah, I just had one other thing because somebody asked, explain what the horses, what the scan does for the horses. Now I've been doing this for 2 years, Valentine's Day, and I like to take a lot of notes. And so what I found in the horse industry is everybody is drugging their horses. Everybody. It doesn't matter. People will give their last dime they have to get a veterinarian to give them shots. So in my research, I have found that doing this 3 times a week for a horse uh, absolutely boosts his immune system, and they use less drugs, big time. And I'm currently working on, how to manage flies. So
Oh,
so that's a good one. It's going to be a good one for me. But, because all that fly spray and all that kind of stuff, it is awful. And so I just want to let you know that.
well, and we have an insect detox frequency. You
Right.
could broadcast to that. Yeah.
Oh, good. Good thought.
It's so much fun. You get to be so creative when you're working. And the nice thing about pets that I've noticed is, there's no placebo effect. With us humans, we have our brain that goes all the different places it goes, and you can be skeptical or you can be a believer, and our software works. I'm telling you, it works. And it takes longer to work if you're skeptical, right? However, with our pets, they don't have the skeptical part of them. They just heal. So it's amazing. Thank you so much, Deb.
Oh,
We
you're
appreciate
welcome.
all that you're doing. Okay, so that's under our profile. Again, supplements, therapies, pets, animals, spaces, and objects. That's where you edit your clients. You create new clients. You manage the groups. What I was telling you about, where you could put in animals in there in your group, and then you also could put in objects and spaces when you're sending frequencies out. So that's just like, look at all the things, and we haven't even got to this, like the main part of the scanner yet. So under quick scan, again, that's where you could do those scans. And then energetic auras, there's 3 that address. One is clearing. I do this every morning before I go to bed. It just clears your whole aura. And it's a great way to start off the day. I do this at the beginning of every client session to get the optimal results. Also, then there's shield, because we pick up stuff, especially the people that are attracted to this are typically empaths, very caring, compassionate people, and we tend to pick up stuff from other people. And so when we have a energetic aura shield, it helps protect us so that not as much stuff comes in, unwanted things come in. Again, I do that at the beginning of the day and with every client session I do. We also have EMF shield, and this one holds for 24 hours. We are bombarded with all the different impacts of EMF in our world. Like, first of all, there's towers everywhere, right? There's the internet in our home. There's our phones. There's even electricity coming off of our appliances. Microwaves are another terrible one. So it's great to have the protection from the EMF shield that affects so many different parts of our body. We also have 3-minute boosts, and they're very self-explanatory. Supercharger, so guess what that is? You need more energy? You can just run 3 minutes of supercharger. Focus is great for if you're learning new things or for kids in school. Relax is great for chilling out. Like, some of us have a hard time just chilling. And then grounding, I always start every day. Again, I do clear shield, EMF shield, and grounding, because grounding, there's so many benefits from grounding. that it's great to have your feet in the earth, and not everything's a frequency, right? So not we're in Missouri. I'm in St. Louis. I can't always go put my feet in the ground because sometimes there's a foot of snow there. And so it's great. Or sometimes I just don't even want to go outside if it's too hot. And so I can hit the grounding button and get the benefits of grounding. And then neuroaerobics helps the brain communicate left, right, top, bottom, front, back, parts of the brain. Steve has his hand up. Like, what would you like to share, Steve? Steve is one of
Oh, I
our rock
just
stars.
sorry. I just threw I created a graphic on how long energetic course lasts that you talked about. So that's something everybody can grab to keep handy if they want to refer back to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve produces so many things for our team. We are so very blessed to be able to have him as a resource for sure. Um, we also have now that I mentioned this, because Steve is amazing, we have a Facebook page. And if you want to go in there and ask questions, look at testimonials, and Steve is always posting amazing resources in there as well. So if you haven't been in our AO Scan official Facebook page, you want to definitely look that up and jump in there. Okay, so that's quick scan. Easy scan is, our software is like having a whole frequency wellness clinic in the palm of your hand. This one button, these are separate modules. And Lauren Swenson, who developed our software, let me tell you a little bit about Lauren Swenson. I just thank God every day for this man. He went on a quest in the 80s. He and his wife adopted a little boy, Michael, who had cerebral palsy. And, the medical world doesn't have a whole lot of solutions for cerebral palsy. So this is the days before internet, right? So he and his wife literally traveled the world looking for a solution for their son, to help their son. And so they found different bits and pieces, different parts of the world, and create his first product that he created was the Theta Chamber in 1988. And this is a true story. He, because of his son did the Theta Chamber. Now we have a modular version of it, a mobile version that's only $3,000. The Theta Chamber is $80,000, but it actually rewires the neural pathways in the brain, and it has reversed his son's cerebral palsy. And I know that's a very kind of a wild claim. And what I'm going to tell you is that our AO scan is non-medical, non-invasive. It is a frequency wellness device. We do not make medical claims, and symptoms resolve. That's what I will tell you. So his son, Michael, no longer has the symptoms. I'm not saying he's healed or cured of cerebral palsy. He just no longer has the symptoms of it. So what Lauren did, this is one of the upgrades that we had a few years ago. We have the inner voice scan, the vital scan, and the comprehensive scan. And this is a great little 6-minute scan that in 6 minutes, you're going to be able to do these 3 very powerful scans and set your day off on the right step. And he created these because this is really for practitioners, that we have a lot of different naturopaths, chiropractors, frequency wellness practitioners that use these scans with clients. And so this scan alone, there's over 30,000 frequencies that it looks at. Now, if you had to look at every scan and read through the hundreds of lines of results, it would take a really long time. So with the easy scan, it only shows the things that are still out of balance so that they can look and target what needs to actually be addressed. And so I'm going to go through each one of these different pieces here. But I wanted to address this so you could see that it only takes about 6 minutes a day. It's not a huge time, and it's super simple. Like literally you click start scan and it just runs all the way through it. You speak for 10 seconds and 6 minutes later you got all the results. So it is very simple to use. So one of those 3 scans is called Inner Voice. I keep saying this is my favorite part of the software, but then I'm like, no, this is my favorite part of the software. Like, no, this is my favorite part of the software. Inner Voice is the software that I know this and the erase function in our SEFI area of the scanner is specifically what I used to help, I would say, remove my symptoms from having to be in a wheelchair and also not wanting to be here. So did you know that our thoughts and our emotions are imprinted on our vocal cords. So that's how you know when your bestie calls and you hear something a little off in their voice. Like they might be saying they're fine, but you know there's just something a little off because you know them. And the frequencies of our thoughts and our emotions are imprinted on our vocal cords. So Lauren, again, brilliant man, created this software where it will analyze. There's 12 different notes in the chromatic scales. That's the black and the white keys on the piano. And there's over 9 octaves. And so by speaking for 10 seconds, and there's a whole little process that we could go over if you're interested in that later, where you speak for 10 seconds and it picks up the imbalances. And it shows there's 4 different results here. So it shows these 3 here are high, out of balance. That's addressing what's going on in the conscious mind. Then the lowest one was out of balance is what's going on in the unconscious mind. And so you get a graph and you can see what's out of balance. You can see this pretty clearly. What's out of balance for me here. And then also the lowest one is 1.4 way down here. And so just by playing the music brings it back in balance. Now, here's the deal. You need to use headphones because of there's advanced engineering in our technology. So you could use headphones, you could use earbuds, you could use any type of listening when you have something in one ear and something in the other ear. Don't just use a one-sided speaker. You want to have 2 because some of the music's on one side, some of the other music's on the other side, and then it also, listening to it together, creates a third set of frequencies in the middle. It is whole brain resonance, okay? This is our newest, I call this Inner Voice 3.1. So when I got started, we were just Inner Voice, just the original, the OG, the original Inner Voice. And that was great. It did the job, and it, like I said, got me out of a wheelchair and back into my life. Then we, Lauren did some more work, and he did Inner Voice 2.0, which was the Pulse. We still have this version, and with this version, you actually get to choose which frequency waveform that you want to use. Now, I will tell you, I did a little bit of research, and I'm just going to show you here. Each waveform does different things. So the triangle waveform is great for emotional processing, grounding, transitions. Okay. So when you play back the Inner Voice, you could choose triangle if these are some of your goals. The square wave, this is really important. The square wave shows that it increases stem cell production. So I am 53. My body does not produce stem cells like it used to when I was a teenager. So the older we get, the harder it is for our bodies to produce stem cells. So well, guess what? Research has shown that listening to square wave frequencies helps the body increase their stem cell production. So that's when you're healing something, it's really powerful. It also helps with things like ADHD, cognitive fatigue, energy boost. Okay. Then we also have sawtooth wave. Well, what is that great for? Guess what? Depression, like deep depression, stagnation. It says emotional stuckness, but here's the deal. It really helps with procrastination. When you just kind of feel stuck. Now, people who are close to me know I am not a morning person. I am a total night owl. So I stay up late, too late. And so when it's the time to get up in the morning, sometimes I'm not so motivated to get out of bed. It might be called procrastination to get out of bed. Well, all I know is I just go to my software and click on sawtooth wave, and guess what? My body just like naturally wants to get moving. It is like a pretty interesting phenomenon. So if you have the same thing, if you're procrastinating something that you really want to get done, turn on sawtooth wave, and it's in Inner Voice, and it's also under a couple of SEFI frequencies. You can do that there too. And then sine wave. This was a huge thing. I never had anxiety until a little over, well, not quite a year ago. I went through this breakup with my fiance, and it was, I never had anxiety in my whole life ever. And I didn't know what was going on. Like, what is this? And it was like nothing was working because I was so focused on square wave because I was working on, healing my back and my knees and all the things. And by the way, my knees, like, they're no longer bone on bone. I have not had surgery. my body's back into alignment. And when you're back into alignment, like things naturally go back to where they need to be. So I was working on Square Wave, which is, energy boost, stem cell production. It was not about calming and for anxiety or sleep. Well, I discovered, this is why I created this form, this research. So sine wave helps with anxiety. So there's so much. I've talked to more and more people this last year that have dealt with anxiety, especially since 2020. And just by listening to the sine wave music, it'll help relax your nervous system. So in our software, now we could choose the sine wave here. And guess what? Our newest inner voice 3.1 under Verity grounding, when you play it, it automatically does the sine wave. So this whole section here is in sine wave. Okay. So if you're in pulse, you can choose which frequency waveform you want. And again, you just hit play. It's super easy. There's the reports. With Verity grounding, you just hit play again, and it plays all 4 of the songs. It takes about 12 minutes. Each song is about 3 minutes long, and it has over 2,000 frequencies just for you. Now, I will tell you, like, it's in whatever key is in the box. So, like, for me today, the high note that was out of balance is D sharp. It's balanced by A. And I could go up here, and you could see, here's the note that's out of balance and what the supportive note is. There's a cute little graph there. And so that's why those are different note names. So when I play this, it's in the key of A. When I play this one, it's in the key of C. And within the music, with Verity grounding, are 2,000 other frequencies unique. So I might have this show up day and another day and another day. But guess what? The music, it's in the background. The frequencies that are produced in the background are different every day. The music might sound alike, but it's different every day because there's over 2,000 unique frequencies to each song. Okay, I want you guys to know that. Lauren said there are no 2 inner voice songs that are the same. They're unique, custom to you. Okay, so that's why it's important to do it every day and listen every day. So speaking of frequencies, like I told you, there's over 171,000 frequencies. I don't think I told you that our human ears can only hear about 4,000 to 6,000 of them. Like, you know how dogs can hear things that we can't hear? It's the same thing. So there's out of those 171,000 frequencies, our physical ears can only hear about 4,000 to 6,000 of them. So it's important, but they go into our field, our biofield, and into our body, both. So it's important to use headphones, really important. This Verity grounding also has Rife frequencies. If you're not sure who Raymond Rife is, we had a presentation last week by Wendy Brennan. I could send that to you if you're interested. She talks a little bit more about Raymond Rife. He's groundbreaking in the world of frequencies 100 years ago. So his frequencies were shown to impact cancer. That's what I could say legally, because we do not diagnose, right? There's also Tesla frequencies in the Verity grounding frequencies, as well as solfeggio frequencies. They're all recorded in 432 hertz, which is another thing that the body receives it more. And Wendy talks about those frequencies again in the presentation that we just had last week. We have recordings of that. We also have tonal therapy. So this is beautiful music. If you press this button here, it's beautiful, gorgeous music. Tonal therapy is a little different. It just plays the tone with all those other frequencies in the background. Again, you need to use headphones, so you're hearing it now, but it's this is about 3 minutes long, and it just has the tone. So one of the powerful things that you can do is hum or sing along with that pitch. That's also going to help. That's why it's called tonal therapy. Listening to the music is great, and playing it and singing it or chanting along with it actually helps it resonate through the body even more. So that is tonal therapy. So do you see how much just this module, in my opinion, is worth $149 a month? And there's so much more. So that's part of Easy Scan was inner voice. The next part that let me check my notes here. I know I'm just jumping around all over the place. Oh, one of the things I had mentioned earlier is we do not diagnose anything. And let me explain to you a little bit why. So those of you who know me, I am not a doctor. I don't play a doctor. I don't pretend to be a doctor. We do not diagnose anything ever. And part of the reason why that is not only because we're not medical professionals. We don't have to be a medical professional. Like I said, you get this wellness center in the palm of your hand. So the software is picking up things in the field and in the physical. So when things manifest into our body, they appear in the field first. They get into the spiritual part of the field, then the mental part, then the emotional part, then it finally lands in the physical body. So when dis-ease comes in, that's how it gets in. And when it leaves the body, it goes out the same way. So we might be symptom free in the physical body, and it could still be hanging out in the field. So again, our software addresses the field and the physical. Okay. So when the software picks up things in the reports, we don't know if it's in the field or if it's in the physical. We don't know if it's on its way in or if it's on its way out. Okay. So how can we diagnose anything? We can't. We don't. The second thing to keep in mind is, remember when I told you about we clear the aura and we shield to get rid of anything that's not ours? So we pick up stuff from people, like going to the grocery store, going to your job, going to the gym, just in your own household. We pick up things. You know, I was talking to Deb. We said the horse's biofield goes out like 25 feet and longer. Ours, the human biofield, is 8 to 12 feet. And so, you know, if you're having dinner with somebody, guess what? Your fields are overlapping. And so it could be, we pick up stuff from other people. So things that'll show up on the report that might not be yours, but they could be your spouses or your kids or your neighbors, right? So if you've been hanging out with them, or even, like I said, going to the grocery store, who knows what you're picking up if you're not, you know, shielded. So that's another reason. The third reason why we definitely do not ever diagnose, just like our ancestors passed down genetic information, they also pass down energetic information. That's called miasms. And years ago, they said it was 7 generations. It could go up 7 generations. Greg Braden just had a thing I just heard in the last 6 months, and he's now saying 14 generations. So when we see things on our report, we are clearing things from our ancestors, not just our own body. So again, we don't know. The big thing that I want you all to keep in mind is, though, it scans and then it optimizes. The optimization is the most important part, because that's when it brings everything back into balance. Okay? So it doesn't matter if it's in the field or the physical, if it's from a neighbor, if it's from a friend, if it's from an ancestor, because you've optimized. And that's what's bringing it into balance. So, okay. Let's talk about vitals. So vitals does things like food sensitivities. Now, food sensitivities are different than food allergies. Food sensitivities tell us what foods that we need to stay away from because we don't have energetically what it takes to effectively digest and metabolize your food. And so every morning when my scans, it'll tell me what foods I should avoid, which is fantastic. I used to pay $300 every quarter to my chiropractor to tell me the list of foods that I needed to stay away from. But what I didn't realize, and I don't know if he realized it or not, but these food sensitivities change. They change on a daily basis. And so I would stay, like almonds was a big one because I love almonds. And I would always be going in, and like one quarter it'd say no almonds, and I'd stay away from the almonds. And then the next quarter it'd say I could have almonds again, so I'd start eating almonds again. And so it was like this give and take with all the food. Well, now, guess what? It tells me every single day what foods I can eat and that are best for my body. And you can optimize even more so that it'll help bring foods they're saying like you really should avoid this today. Here's a little tip. You could keep optimizing every half hour. So like I make this really great Thai chicken vegetable soup, coconut soup, and I make a whole big pot at a time, and I love having it. And so if I know that day I'm gonna have some leftover soup, and guess what, chicken shows up or coconut shows up or some of the vegetables show up on my scan, instead of saying no, I can't eat that today, I could go in and I could just optimize a few times before and check my scan. And a lot of times that it'll fix it. So then I could eat the food and not have any kind of problems. So there's a little tip for you. If your vital scan comes back with a food that you really are planning on eating that day, just wait a half hour and optimize it. And most of the time it'll go away. It also does scans and optimizes different things in our blood and our chakras. Our chakras are our main energy centers that are affiliated with our hormones, actually. Most people don't realize that the chakra centers are connected to our hormone centers. Gastrointestinal functions, meridians. So one of the great analogies that Lauren tells us is chakras are like the energy centers in our body, like the breaker box in our house, whereas the meridians are like the wiring that comes out. So this will scan and then optimize your meridian so that your energy in your body is flowing the way it should be. It has nutritional analysis, so it'll look at micronutrients, macronutrients, amino acids. It'll also look at different various physical functionalities. It'll look at like things like your bone health, your ligament strength, your blood sugar regulation. It also goes over toxicities. Earlier, I talked about all the different toxins that we come in contact with. It looks at chemical toxicities. It looks at environmental toxicities. And not only does it see what's there, but it optimizes. This is the key here. It optimizes things so it brings things back into balance so you could function the best way you can. So that's what Vitals does. So also in the easy scan, I'm going to skip ahead to comprehensive. Then we'll go back. So Vitals, I like to think of Vitals as like the quote software of the body, like the functionality of things, whereas comprehensive is more like the hardware of things. It's the things that you could actually touch. So this will scan and optimize arteries, chromosomes, down to the chromosomes, connective tissue, ears, eyes, heart, your lymphatic system, muscles, nerves, all your organs, your skeleton, and your veins. And again, it will scan and then optimize. Incredible. So that's what the easy scan does. It does the inner voice, vitals, and comprehensive all in one step. Now we also have body systems, and it's the systems of the body. All of these top ones here are the systems in the body. And then down to the human cell and mitochondria. Yes, to that level. It's incredible. And then a couple years ago, they added a hormone report. Now I'm going to tell you, when you're doing the hormones to get this set up, you want to, what Lauren teaches is that you want to do this, the hormone scan, and you could actually deselect all of it. Just select on the hormone and scan and optimize. It's just one button. And you want to do that morning, noon, and night for 3 days in a row. Now, men, it's not as important because men's hormones do not fluctuate like women's hormones do. But for us women, our hormones are always changing. And so that's why to get a strong baseline and to get the best results possible, when you start your subscription, or if you've had a subscription and you didn't know this little tip, you can start tomorrow. So morning, noon, night, just do the hormones, scan and optimize to give you a new baseline. And then we also have chemistry. So the chemistry is like all of the things that you typically go and get your blood work drawn from are those results. Now, however, when you go get blood work drawn, they're just like, quote, scanning it. They're just testing it. They're not optimizing anything. Well, guess what? What our software does? It optimizes it. So the reports that you're getting, again, it's not diagnostic, but it's looking at the energetic patterns surrounding all of that functionality. So I will tell you that Lauren, on a regular basis, compares the results of our software, our energetic results, frequency results, to the chemical results, the actual live blood work. So he'll make sure that it's within a range that's accurate. If it ever gets off, he will pull that part of the software out, fix it, and then put it back in. It's always being monitored that it's on target. Okay, we talked about multi-scan where you could have up to 16 people at a time doing the vitals and the comprehensive, and that includes our pets. Then we have SEFI. Oh my goodness. I was telling you about the erase feature. So that what erase does, erase will literally pull out anything that your body does not need is not part of inherently and part of your design. So when I was having pain, now I will tell you, Solex did not teach me this. This is something I kind of discovered on my own. It just made sense to me. Like, I knew the pain in my body wasn't part of my design. That's not how I was designed, to be in pain all the time. And so what I would do is I would take my scanner, and I will tell you, mostly I do it on a tablet. There's so much data that goes back and forth. I personally highly recommend you could get a good Android tablet for around $100. I don't really use my phone unless I'm out and about and really it's an emergency, because there's so much stuff on my phone. It doesn't work as well. It will work for sure. It's not ideal because I don't want it messing with anything else. So I have a tablet. You could also use your computer. So when I have pain, I will pull my software up and I will put it on the area of pain. So for example, if I had pain in my shoulder, I would do the front and the back and around the area, as well as the field around it, right? Because things start in the field. So I would do erase. I do this. I work with clients literally all over the world. I have clients in Canada. I have several in Canada, Australia, Japan. We have Setsuko on here from Japan. We have people in Poland, different parts of Europe, literally all over the world. And so over Zoom, I do client sessions, and you can literally like touch the erase and it will pull out, like erase, clear out the energy patterns that are not supposed to be there. Okay. Pretty amazing. And you just do it until the pain decreases. Now, I will tell you, it's messes with people's mind. I had a session with somebody today and they're like, I don't understand. Like, you're there. I live an hour away. How is this working? And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like Star Trek. And however, it works. Like, if it works, then like, is that okay with you? If it just works, do you have to understand everything? Like, do you need to understand how your car works for you to drive it? Well, no. Like, do you need to understand how the internet works for you to get on the internet and search for something? Well, no. Doesn't it just matter what the results are? And so this right here, to me, is worth the $149 a month, just the erase. I used to get migraines on an almost daily basis. Now I rarely get them because I'm always attending to my field. So when you keep your field balanced, then there's less things that get into the physical. And occasionally there's two things that happen. When I'm really tired and the barometric pressure shifts, I will get a migraine. And now, instead of having to take migraine medication or have it like wipe me out for the day or days, I pull up my scanner, I clear, shield, ground, I run the scans, and then I go to erase, and I'll put the erase where it is the location on my head. And I'll run erase a few times, and then I'll imprint the frequencies that I need to, which is going to get me to the next section. So we have different categories. If you are interested, we have a 53-page document that has all of the frequencies listed in just this one category alone. So you're not gonna hear all the frequencies, but there's different categories, and you'll see there's categories like abundance, wealth, success. That's the frequencies I'm sending to my bank account. There's the EMF shield clearing, and energetic shield again, energy focus. Now, what I'm going to tell you is you could look through that list and you could build a whole entire business impacting people in just one of these frequencies. These are the ones that support the physical body. Acute pain, adenoids, AIDS, alcoholism, allergies. I mean, pick one and you can make a difference for people. Bedwetting, blood pressure, bones. I'm telling you, just this is such a gift. Colitis, cold sores, cold hands. So many options here. Then there's affirmations, things like accelerated learning, addictions, antibiotics, anxiety, arthritis, common cold, compulsive behaviors, diabetes. Like I said, pick one. Just pick one. And you can help someone. Flowers are the Bach and Bush flower remedies. They address the emotions. And this part of the software is so great because you could literally scan it and it'll tell you what frequency you need. Or you could just choose one. Either way works. The chakras, if you want extra support in any of the chakras, you could scan and see which chakra needs more support, or just, again, choose one. There's the homeopathic remedies. I think we have almost like All the homeopathic remedies that I'm aware of are in our software. And here's the other thing. You can imprint. So SEFI stands for Subtle Energy Frequency Imprinter. So you could literally pick a frequency, and then when you hit, so I'll just pick one. And I hit 20-second imprint, and you could put a glass of water. I imprint my jewelry. I have homeopathic tablets, and it'll imprint that frequency into the object. So if you had a tablet, you would just put your glass of water or your jewelry or whatever you're doing. I always erase first and then imprint the frequencies. And it's that simple. So there's the homeopathic remedies. We have the cell salts. We also have nosodes and by symptom. And again, like you could go through this, like who do you know that has acne? Who do you know that has ADHD? Who do you know that has these different allergies? Animal bites, bipolar disorder, blood clots. It just goes on and on and on. The value to me is incredible. This is like the ultimate first aid kit for the family, honestly. We have essential oils. Oh my goodness. You can scan and see what essential oils you need and imprint those. It makes, and if you have the physical essential oil, you could actually, Lauren said, and they did a test on this, where you could take a carrier oil like, almond oil, or I know there's other carrier oils out there, and do 3 drops in a 5 milliliter bottle, 3 drops of the original oil. So like I love rose oil. My name's Connie Rose, and rose is a very high frequency oil. That's one of my favorites. And I could take, and it's very expensive. So I could take 3 drops of my rose oil, put it into my little carrier oil in my bottle, and then imprint it, and it will literally transform those 3 drops into a whole 5 milliliter bottle. That alone pays for my software every month because rose oil is expensive. And again, you could choose what waveform you want to use. We have minerals. There are electrolytes. Electrolytes are so important. Micro minerals. The minerals are like the spark plugs of the body. Very, very important. And our soil has less minerals than ever, so we're not getting it in our food. You could also send gold and silver frequencies to your bank account. Those are some of the fun frequencies you could have. We have homeoenergetics. There's a lot of different things that support the body in here, as well as multiple detoxes. Where it says DT, those are the detoxes. Things like candida detox, chemical detox, cerebral detox, dental detox. And there's that insect detox, Deb, for the horses. Insomnia detox, Lyme. Again, choose one. Helping with sleep. Trace mineral. This is all the trace minerals. And you could, again, imprint all your trace minerals into your water and drink them, and you get the energetic equivalent of the trace minerals. Ultimate Emotions. This is a great one. Ultimate Emotions are all of the Bach and Bushflower remedies. So if you're not quite sure, you know that there's an energetic, emotional component to what you're dealing with. If you just use Ultimate Emotions, that's kind of like a blanket over all of those. We have SEFI dots. So patches right now are big in the market. We could create your own custom one. So like there's these people out there that are selling sleep patches or energy patches or weight loss patches. Well, guess what? We have all of that and more because we have these that are predetermined checklists, and you could put more than just these into your SEFI dots. So pain, again, choose one and you can help so many people. Let's go to AO Tune. We have all of the frequencies of all the tuning forks. This is amazing. I didn't even know there was this many tuning forks out there. And again, you can scan and see which one your body's calling for. And again, like it'll tell you what each one does. This Flower of Life is great. I love it because I still deal with pain, but it's totally manageable. I was on 6 medications when I first got onto the software, including hydrocodone, which is a narcotic. And I have not been on that for, I can't even tell you how years and years and years. I'm on no medication at this point because I don't need it. I am able to resolve all of my issues just using these frequencies. And so we have the tuning forks. And again, you could choose the waveform. And then multicast. Multicast allows you to then send the frequency lists, which I'm going to show you here, to up to 5 frequency lists to people. So you could create frequency lists based on topics. Like here, I'm working on some eczema, and here's some, these are the frequencies that support that. And we have resources to help you with that. Grief is a big one for me. It's something I deal with every day. I miss my child. There's not a day that goes by that I wish he wasn't here. And so, so that's something I get to deal with every day. And I have tools now that has me back into my life, making a difference, which is what he would want and what I want. And so, these frequencies, how I imprint this into my water and in my jewelry every morning. And I'm telling you, it keeps me going. So you could build lists around individual topics or symptoms, weight release ones, or you could have for a client a specific list just for a person. So you could create the list however you want. And again, just like you could have unlimited clients entered into here, you could have unlimited lists, which is amazing. Okay. Then one of my other favorite parts is AO MindSync. So we got AO MindSync, I think 2 years ago. And one of the things I didn't tell you about myself is I am an NLP master coach and trainer. So NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. That is the art and the science of the unconscious mind. So our unconscious mind controls really, some people say 90, 95, 99% of all of our decisions, all of our behaviors, all of our, we don't have to think about breathing. Our unconscious mind just takes care of it, right? So we have this mind sync. I spent $30,000 in 2021 getting my training, and it took the whole year. And then right after that, not too long after that, Lauren came out with MindSync. And again, you have to use headphones. And if you are a AO Scan subscriber and you have not yet explored MindSync, oh my goodness, please, please, please do yourself a favor and start learning how to do MindSync. On my YouTube channel, which is just Connie Rose Up, you can find training that I put out there on MindSync. And whoever introduced you the software, they might be able to help you too. It's amazing. So what it does, again, it has part of the recording on one side, part of it on the other, and it creates that third message. And so affirmations are great. People, you've been hearing about affirmations for years and years and years. And so, like, for example, though, when we say an affirmation, and one, if our nervous system isn't regulated, it's not going to make a difference. And two, if it's something that our brain can't accept, like, I easily weigh 140 pounds. Well, y'all could look at me and say, girl, that's not true. who are you teasing? So I have this, like, we all have, I call it the itty bitty it committee in the brain here, our frontal lobe, and that argues with us. So when we say these affirmations, it comes back and there's this little argument in the brain. Well, guess what? When you're doing MindSync, it's like this ultimate biohack that it passes, because of the engineering, it bypasses that committee here and goes straight to reprogramming the unconscious mind. And so you just listen to these recordings. It takes about 6 to 12 weeks to reprogram the brain if you're consistently using them. And because you can choose an emotion to go along with it, it's from the flowers. You could go into Quantum Flowers and scan yourself and see what you need, or you just choose one. And then you could do the inner voice music as a background. And then you just hit record. You play them, you say the affirmations. You could write your own. And if you're interested in a tool that can help you with that, I created something with there. And you just hit play and you email it to yourself. And you can do unlimited recordings for yourself and for people to help have the blissful life that you want and you can have. I'm telling you, anything you want for yourself and your life and your family, this software can deliver. I promise you. If you're stuck with something, reach out to me or whoever introduced you to the software, and we can create a plan for you to use the software so that you get what you want out of it. Okay, let me look at my notes real quick. Okay, so I've been trying to build value for you to see that 149. So just this MindSync, I charge $97 to do 3 MindSync recordings for clients because it's so valuable. And so I there's lots of different ways. This software is not just a frequency wellness device. It is an income generator. It is an income generator because I could do sessions for clients and they pay me, and it's a tax write off. So I'm going to tell you 6 different reasons why the software more than pays for itself. So it just like I said before, I'm going to remind you of some of the things. Supplement savings, that alone, first month I more than paid for my software. It's also a tax write-off because I do use that with clients. You have to have I'm not a tax professional. See your tax advisor, and I will tell you, I write this off because I use it with clients. You have to have an intent to make profit. That's why you have to have an intention. Okay? And in the world of tax benefits, you need to have the internet. So guess what? Your internet bill is a tax write-off. You use it on your phone. Guess what? Tax write-off. There's more. Talk to your tax person about that. The savings, like I think every person in America needs to have aside something for the tax benefits alone. What I will tell you is that there's over 475 tax benefits that you could be eligible for just by having the software and sharing it with people. Also, it creates an additional revenue stream. Like I said, I offer sessions with people and they pay me. They gladly pay me. You could also build a Solex team. So I mentioned earlier that I was a platinum quantum living advocate with Solex. And so because I shared this with other people and they are getting the subscription and they're paying for it every month, I get a portion of their payment comes to me as a commission every single month. It is passive residual income, which in my opinion is the best kind of income you could ever have in your life. I will tell you, I was working with another company when my son went to heaven. This company wasn't around in March of 2020. And I became disabled. I couldn't function. And if it wasn't for the passive residual income that was coming into my household, I could not have paid my bills. And so I made a vow then and there that I will never, ever, never be without a stream of income that comes in, whether I am hustling about it or not. To me, this is not a hustle. This is a gift I share with people. What I do personally is I share inner voice sessions complimentary. They get one free inner voice session. I work with them on, they walk away with the music that makes a big difference for them. And if they have pain or anxiety or like my 2 little specialty areas, what I do in the session, I will resolve that in that session and they get an experience of it. It's an easy way to share the software with people. So you could build a whole team around that. With the MindSync, another way that it shifts your income is that it changes your limiting beliefs around abundance. You know, we were all raised with stories like money doesn't grow on trees or, you know, whatever else that little committee up there is telling you. So you could literally reprogram your brain with the software so that you have you get to say what your brain is believing, not the past programming. And this is what I know. When you change your frequency and what's available, like it changes your whole life. Like I live it every day. I just feel so blessed. There are no contracts, no hidden fees, just unlimited access to the most advanced frequency technology on the planet. So if this resonates with you, that is frequency alignment calling you forward. So if you have not gotten a free inner voice session, and you don't have the software yet, if you're seeing this as a recording, reach out to me or reach out to the person who shared this with you and ask them for a free session. Before we go, I want to bring Steve back and have him share. He works with a lot of clients also. And what's your latest, greatest, fun testimony that you want to share, Steve?
Well, actually, first of all, thanks very much for your kind words earlier, Connie. My latest and greatest is on my dog Zeus, kind of along the lines of what Deb was saying. So about 4 days ago, Zeus, for those of you who haven't seen him, he's a big 125-pound Great Pyrenees. He's 7 years old, so he's an older gent, and he's a bit of a lug. I have an underground fence in the front yard. We live on 2 acres. and he is like honor bound to chase after the UPS guy, the FedEx guy, the USPS truck, just about any truck that runs up and down the road. And we're in a pretty secluded area, but nonetheless, when they come by, boy, he has to race up and down right up against the underground fence. Well, we got about a foot of snow on the ground up here in Wisconsin, and there are some ruts in the yard that he can't see through the snow. Well, he won a couple days ago. We're getting ready to take him on a walk, and he must have chased some truck. And of course, he never goes out in the street. He just goes up and down the fence line or underground fence line. And he comes up to the house when we call him, doing this thing. He couldn't even put weight down on his left paw. And so what we did was we used a comp. First of all, of course, he didn't go on the walk. We laid him down so he'd stay calm and stay off his leg. But I pulled out my wife has the AO mask, and I grabbed the throat part of it. And so I grabbed old Zeus's paw, wrapped it around, put an ace bandage to hold it on there, and just kind of stroked him to keep him calm. I started running red light and near infrared therapy on him. And meanwhile, I immediately scanned and optimized him. So what Connie's talking about, or Deb talked about, you can do for the horses, you can do the same thing for your pets. So ran a full, or actually, first of all, I did what Connie always has taught us in the past: clear shield, EMF shield, grounded him, and then did a full vital scan, full optimization and vitals, did the same thing in comprehensive, and then ran the frequencies. And then that night, I got into multicast and I ran frequencies for pain relief, for inflammation, for arthritis, a couple other things. Lo and behold, actually, even after we started the red light therapy and the frequencies, he was already able to start put weight on his paw just in a couple of hours. But next morning he got up, just had a slight limp. That was day one. Day two, he's walking around like nothing ever happened. So that's the latest and greatest. Now think of that for a minute. Those of you who have pets, think about how expensive it is to go to a veterinarian. I mean, it is expensive. I don't know about you, but up here in Wisconsin, they want you to give a kidney or something, to pay for your vet visit. And so that's really important for people to save money. And like Connie's really been hitting on with everybody, everybody should have this scanner in their house, period, because it is a great way to balance your energy and proactively clear stuck energy that if it doesn't get cleared, eventually may manifest as dysfunction or disease in your body. One other quick testimonial. This is actually a little bit from the past, but I've literally been able to restore a woman's eyesight with the frequencies, and I wasn't even trying to do that. She was legally blind in her left eye. I didn't even know that she had it. I was actually trying to work on her leg. She had shattered her left leg in a car accident, so I was actually trying to work on the pain in her leg. But just by scanning and optimizing her and running and like Connie was saying, just getting her frequencies, all the imbalances balanced in her frequencies, it created a good safe space for her body to heal. Our bodies really want to be in a healed state. It's just we either we do stuff to it or stuff is externally done through EMF, poisons, toxins, our own emotions, or the emotions of someone we might live with that's kind of toxic. Those can all conspire against us being healed. And if we just clear that space out, the body goes, I can do it. The other thing that's really important to remember is it's going to be very difficult for you to heal if your nervous system is not in a regulated state. Dysregulated nervous systems does not equal detox, digest, rest, or healing. So it's really important. So just like with Zeus, I knew this. So with Zeus, when we were trying to get him to heal, we kept him nice and calm. He loves being petted. He's an attention hound. And so just by petting him, it calmed him down and allowed his nervous system to come down so the healing could start. The frequencies could do the work there. So I can't say enough good things. I know we're running late, and I'm actually running to a healing session here in about 20 minutes, but I can't say enough good things about this. If you're on the fence about doing it, what do you have to lose? Hop on, do it for at least a couple months. Actually learn how to use it. Learn from Connie or some of the other smart people on this call, so you actually know how to do it. There's a little bit of nuance and art science to it. It's not that difficult, but once you really learn how to use it, boy, the healing starts happening and you can do so many tremendous things with it. Connie, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording.